Ladies and gentlemen, Eternal 24. Now tonight, some of our fights are fought under A-class rules, which is the international rules. This fight is under B-class rules. So for those of you that don't understand quite the difference in the two categories, our B-class fighters aren't allowed to do any elbows, no up kicks when they're on the ground to the head, there's no rotational locks, and there's no spinning back fists. They're just some of the main differences between that and our professional ranks. So the first fight in the B-class division, ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of our blue corner. He weighed in last night at 67.1 kilos, trains under Jason Lonigan. He fights out of Gamebred MMA in Brisbane. Please welcome Ryan Bishop.
Just thinking, should we have it down for this part and then turn?
His opponent in our red corner, with a fight record of 3 fights, 3 wins, he weighed in at 66.7 kilos. Trains under Joe Perry at Kachi MMA in Toowoomba. Please welcome Tom Nolan. Roy Hall is our referee. 3 3-minute rounds. Round 1.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are at Eternal. Southport Sharks. Straight into the first fights. No messing around here. And Chad, what do you know about these guys, mate? Well, straight into the action.
Right, Bishop with the Nicolas Cage shorts on, showing a little bit of individualism. He took this fight on short notice against a very accomplished young fella called Tom Nolan, fights out of Kachi MMA in Toowoomba. A fight school that has been known for their real gritty fighters, their real accomplished fighters, and they're always very well rounded.
We're straight into it here. We're often
cage work early. Battling for head position is very crucial.
So yeah, we've gone straight from the centre of the cage and straight back up against the fence. Boys fighting for position here on the cage, and
we've got a 50-50 position here. So there you can see the underhook from Ryan Bishop.
Referees talking about it. So we're Southport Sharks. So boys want to see a blue.
Southpaw versus orthodoxy, which we like to call open guard, because both the rear strikes, the power strikes, are open for both fighters. So watch out for some head kicks and some body kicks coming from the side. Also big right hands or left hands for the Southpaw. Oh, the length of the cage there for that one. Changes it into a single leg. Defending it well. Oh, crossface. Tommy Nolan's deep on that single there.
Good crowd in here again at Southport Sharks. Cam O'Neill putting on a great show as usual, mate.
Ooh, nice. Tie knees there with the tie plum wrapped around the head. But he gives up the 50-50 position again. Both boys with an underhook. The underhook's imperative in this position if you want to get off the cage. Changes again to the single.
He's been relentless on his desire to want to get him down on the...
Most definitely. No secret where he wants to take the fight.
That's right. Maybe it's just because of those shorts. They are one of the hilarious pairs of shorts I think I've seen in there.
I'll tell you what, mate. At first, I was a little put off by them, but they're growing on me. Nick Cage, he's been in some good films.
Can't say I'm a Nicolas Cage fan, but I won't forget those shorts in a hurry. It's a good round there. Boys came out hard there.
Yeah, it's actually a hard round. Do you score it for the guy who's trying to get it down, or do you score it for the guy who's got the better defense defending it?
Yeah, that's always a constant battle, argument amongst MMA legends and spectators the world over. Trying to score these fights becomes quite a thing of individual preference
Yeah, we might even see that between the judges tonight.
and the commentators.
Music.
I'm a grappling fan. I like the offense. I can't reward someone for having his back on the cage the whole time, but he did very well in trying to keep the fight up on his feet.
Good crowd in here at Southport Sharks. Good atmosphere, as with all
Seconds
the
down.
eternal promotions.
All thanks to Fight Life.
Looking forward to the second round.
See if one of these boys can pull ahead.
Eternal 24 live here tonight. Ryan Bishop, Tom Nolan. Round 2.
Kachi MMA from Toowoomba. Tom Nolan, the southpaw with the Muay Thai trunks on. Comes from a fantastic school like we mentioned before. One of their most notable students is former bantamweight champion of Eternal, Reese McLaren. There must be something with the water up there, up on top of that mountain, because they've got studs like this. And if Reese is anything to go by with his grappling, if Tommy gets this one to the ground, it could be a whole different story.
Some of those knees are straying very close to the dangerous region of the groin there.
I'd like to call that the fruits in the business, mate.
There's just another one just sliding there.
And another one. Turn these plums into prunes. Very well timed.
It's a grueling fight. A lot of the fighters being up against the cage, but these guys are working. They're not just laying there. They're working hard. You can see, trying to work for the takedown or just working just for position, really. So it's
absolutely,
not like
always
resting there.
Most definitely. This is grueling. This is where Randy Couture made a career out of. Just pinning people against the cage, making them work, making them carry his weight, and it's draining. It's mentally draining because you don't know how the scorecards are going. It's physically draining because you're constantly battling for position.
The referee is it's his second time, obviously not one for watching the fighting on the cage either. Probably wants to see a bit of striking.
Yeah, he's not a fan of inactivity, as it seems.
He brings the cow to life with a head kick.
There we go. There's that open guard we were talking about, the rear kick. I think the boys had enough of the cage as well. Beautiful inside leg kick from that power shot. I would like to see either boy foot race, meaning their lead foot getting it on the outside of their opponent's lead foot and getting a dominant angle from which they can strike from.
Tom keeps changing Southpaw orthodox. He's making it difficult. And
He
he's
does.
really mixed it up.
He does. It's always a hard puzzle to figure out, especially in the cage, especially when the consequences of if you don't figure it out is you're going to be eating a punch in the head.
Well, it's hard enough. There's enough to think about in there for these MMA fighters. You know, do you take it to the ground? The kicks coming, the punches.
Nicolas Cage shorts.
Sure. And then for someone to be changing, orthodox to southpaw, some good work there on the cage to finish from Ryan Bishop.
The beauty of having 3-minute rounds is that these fellas might go gangbusters in this last round.
Oh, it's a testament to the fitness of the two men, really. Because it's not like they've taken it easy in the first 2 rounds either, so
No, it's been grueling.
it's been pretty hard stuff.
They've been the sole designer of all Eternal MMA branding since inception. Pro Screen. Third and final round.
So as Dave Allard announces there, the third and final round. This is where the fight's going to be won or lost, we feel.
Absolutely. And here's that urgency we can see.
Yeah. They're fighting for the win here, this round, I would say.
Most definitely. Tommy with a bit of a desperation takedown with a beautiful sprawl to stuff it. Again in the 50-50. One underhook apiece with an overhook to match. Beautiful head control there. That head control can be everything in the clinch because wherever the head goes, the body will follow. So if you can force an opponent to look away from you, that pressure that he's putting on his body, it gets diverted off to the side. So usually in a 50-50 position, whoever's got the head control can start to move, can start to work, can start to escape. Or, as we're seeing right now, he can go in for takedown attempts.
It really has been, without being the most dynamic fight, it really has been a high intensity fight. There's been no resting. It's grueling fight.
Most definitely. This is what you see when you get two young fellas in a fantastically matched fight. They're matching each other, grappling for grappling, striking for striking, cardio for cardio.
We've got 90 seconds of this fight left, and basically it's up for grabs. So this is like a penalty shootout in football, or this is the next 90 seconds will probably decide this fight.
Ryan Bishop, he's actually got his corner right there with him, so listening intently to their advice. Man, his knees are just racking up.
Yeah.
They've got to take their toll.
Not nice, are they? I'm sure all Tom's looking down and seeing is Nicolas Cage staring up at him in the back there.
This is where it starts to blur the line between inactivity. You can see the ref there, he's poised to step in, and there he goes.
I've quite liked this referee because, albeit they're not being inactive, it's not the worst. Yeah, I thought
that. Tommy with the clinch of his own. He gives up the double unders.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. The ref is no nonsense.
He's proactive.
He's scoring some knees in there, but they're not fight ending. It's a bit of a stalemate. Tommy wasn't in any trouble, just taking him to the legs, so he scored his points and the ref got him out of there.
I think the judge will probably, judges will be quite pleased too. That'll make their job a bit easier. 10 seconds left here, and they probably need to get him off the cage again there. We spent most of this fight on that cage, and
we've seen it before and we might see it again.
I think there's probably only three people that I would less like to be, or two people that I'd less like to be than the judges, and that's the two fighters. Yeah. But not far behind them would be the three judges, because that's a really tough fight to try and score, I think.
Yeah, mate, you're not wrong there. I'm fine sitting here behind the commentary desk.
We won't put our necks out on the line because all you people out there have tuned in to the coverage on the net. You'll all be shouting us down, so we're going to sit on the fence and we're going to say we've got no idea who won that, but it was a very, very close fight. Good fight.
We'll keep it diplomatic. It was a close fight. That's all I'm going to say. We'll let the judges speak for the fight themselves.
I'm going to put my neck on the line. I'm going to go for Tom because Ryan, there was that leg kick and he shook his leg as if he was in a bit of pain. So I don't know. There's that the judges they might take that into consideration. There
Absolutely,
you go. I mean,
mate.
we see a replay of it there, and
Absolutely.
and that looks like and then the little flurry afterwards that might have been enough to.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for our first fight of the night? We go to the judges' scorecards for the very first time this evening. We have a split points decision. And it goes to the red corner, Tom Nolan.
Well, Tom Nolan getting the win there.